What is up, everybody? Escape211 here, and today we're going to be reviewing Kazama. Now, this is a guy I have not used a ton myself, but he is, well, probably by many considered kind of B tier, but he can actually be super good, and I actually see him a lot in high end. Let's look at his kit here. Rocket Launcher is his base attack. This has some pretty solid direct damage, as well as, well, more so the AoE damage, right? Very handy for hitting targets. It has very much a straight path, though. It can be tricky to hit sometimes with different elevations, but still very solid. Flight mode is his ability, which is super good, allows him to get up in the air for a few seconds, but you know, it also recharges pretty quickly, so you can use it pretty frequently. He has two different ultimates here. He has Cannonball Drive, which is his normal one that a lot of people use. Great for getting around the map, as well as it resets his flight mode, so you could fly, use this on the enemy, fly and get up over top of them, which is really nice. Orbital Strike is also really good, we're going to actually use that today because I'm doing payload. But this one can be very good at taking out targets and following others. And his passive is super good. This one, as long as you land shots, it will always put a shot in the chamber. So once you get good with Kazama and use this, it's probably the best passive in the game because you never need to reload. So it can be very effective. As you can see, my Kazama is quite low, only 80. I have not used him much, but like I said, he is very strong. He ends up being a counter for a lot of people to other very widely used heroes, especially like in top-end meta. So he can be, you know, with his AoE, he can be good against like a Shell or an Aletta that gets in your face, where he can get right above them in the air, which is where he's really strong. In the air, he can actually be pretty good against Hualing, because it's harder for her arrows to hit. And then like Christina's and Jabali's and Victor's, all stuff that will get up close, he can be pretty effective there, just because he can get up in the air and it's just like their short range doesn't easily reach him. But he's great at like being up in the air around doorways. Oop. And you want to hit with the AoE like that. We're hitting some there. I can't tell if any of these players are not AI. I get a lot of AI this early in the game with Kazama because I haven't used him much. I'm guessing most of it's AI, if not all of it. I might have one player on the other side. A couple of those names were like characters I didn't recognize, so I don't know if any one of them could be players. But we'll see. Now I'm kind of just playing payload duty, and you can see right here, I'm trying to hit the guy, even though my sight is a little bit higher, it's still hitting that elevation. That's kind of what I was saying. Like, even with short elevations, he can get tripped up easily hitting those instead of actually hitting his target. I'm just trying to land some regular shots down against their payload while I'm playing back here. But we're getting to the area where it's going to get a little heated, and then I'll be able to get some good shots in and take flight. I'm going to push in, actually, and we'll do it here. Actually, I'll back out, because one of those Christina, and if they hit me again... That's one thing I didn't say. Kazama's big issue, of course, is his health. It's really low. Oh, I'm going to use Orbital Strike here so you guys can see that. So once you have it ready, it will select the person, and it will put this, like, crazy... kind of like ion blast from the sky on them. And after it hits the target, it'll keep going for as long as it stays, and it'll try to find another target. Really good for objective-based combat like this. Great for payload and control, Crystal Assault, because you have objectives. And if you can kill somebody near the objective, it'll be near the objective, and then it's harder for them to either stay there or other people to stay there. So yeah, payload, really nice for, especially. Yeah, and you can see where, especially against a Jabali and a Christina, if he can take to the sky, it's very difficult for them to deal with it. Scotty, it's a little trickier, but we got that one. So, I mean, really, when people want to get up in his face, though, he can just take the flight and create a lot of havoc, make it hard for them to hit. And as you can see, if I'm just, like, up in the air anywhere in the middle like that, harder for Christina to, like, land a shot on me, just given the nature of her bullets. With someone like Scotty, you want to get like this, like directly over top of them. If you're right over top of them, it's really hard for them to aim at you, and then you can use your ability on them, doing the same kind of thing to Christina here. I mean, that really works for anybody, but especially for those that have like direct fire, that's how you're going to survive. You don't want to engage them far away. Your bullets are too slow, and your health is too low to do it. That was probably a bad idea, but they were already taking damage from someone else. But yeah, you definitely got to use him up close with certain targets. But you got to pick your battles, of course, because you have low health. Just find the right times to be in the air. You have to use the air to your advantage, hugely, because that's like the design of the dude. So This is probably a bad idea. Oh, but I think he was distracted enough that it worked. Or, yeah, it's probably just AI. So that's another thing, too. If it's AI, it's going to be easier. But, I mean, it kind of gives you an idea of how this guy works. Definitely one that you want to take to the air at the right times to get in certain positions, as well as just, like, get above your opponents. In doorways can be really nice, too. If you float in the doorway and shoot at the ground near the doorway when enemies are coming through, that'll hit them as well. So like I've said, I mean, he's generally considered B tier, especially if you're soloing, but in the right team or like as a good counter to other stuff, he is kind of like top tier from what I've seen of other people, especially in high-end tournaments. So you guys can let me know what you think of Kazama. Do you use him? Do you like him? What are your thoughts on him? Feel free to comment below, and we'll see you out there on the battlefield.